Mhm. And welcome to week 9, episode 9. Talking some football here. We got Brad Ortizi, team I'm gonna win, JK. Brad, welcome to the show.
Good to be here, boys. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. We were really looking forward to it too. First of all, before we dive into the football stuff, tell everyone a little bit about what's going on in your life, how work is, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, things are good. I'm still living in Columbus. I'm working for a private equity group at a couple different locations, mainly one in Powell. I'm there 4 days a week, and then I drive out to a clinic in Urbana, which is a little bit west of Columbus. That's just on Tuesdays, but it's been good. I'm enjoying work. I like my staff a lot. My tech at the Powell office is a former competitive power lifter, so I'm not used to working around people stronger than me. That is a little bit humbling, but otherwise, can't complain. It's been good.
Have you been going to the gym harder, being like, I gotta get better than this tech in there too?
It's been a little bit of motivation. We did go one day where we were just going for maxes, and we have the same max bench, so he doesn't have me beat there, but he does clear me in deadlift and squat. So
Yeah.
still working on that.
Yeah, I mean, heck yeah, subtle little
That's
flex in
actually
there
insane that
too.
you have the same max bench, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess no, I should rephrase that. Our current max, not his all-time max. His all-time max back when he was actually
I mean,
competing.
still, like that's.
Yeah,
Okay, you have to tell us the number now. What is it?
it was 295, I believe.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Oh my gosh, that is
still
ridiculous.
trying to get in that 315 club though. That's the goal.
I'd love
295 is like how many
315.
45s? That's like a lot of 45s now.
That's a
Three on
lot.
each side.
Yeah.
That'll be 3 plates if he benches 315. Yeah.
Yep.
Jeez. All right. Well, anyways, back to the football side of things too. Brad, we do have to talk a little bit about your football team right now too. First of all, I want to make it very clear that you do still have a chance at the playoffs too. All it takes looks at, like it takes right now is going to be a win from you and having more points than anybody else that gets into the playoffs, which looks like a loss for Sam, a loss for Carson, and a loss for uh,
So,
Cole too.
so hold
So
on. I'm gonna
um,
amend that. I play Cole this week. Brad needs me to beat Cole, and he needs to stay ahead of me in points to make the playoffs.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we're now looking at outside shots of getting into the playoffs. Brad, I'm just going to open it up to you. How do you feel like this season's gone for you?
It's been a roller coaster to say the least. I didn't get off to the best start. Obviously, at one point, my team got on a bad losing streak midway through the season, and I was sitting at a 2-7 record, right? I believe the week I played Dylan, and to that point, it was just like, win out or not make the playoff. That's kind of how I felt, and at that point, our team showed some fight. We rallied back, won 3 in a row. And, last week, obviously, I was hoping we could keep the momentum going, but went right back to shit in the bed. I mean, that was just an abysmal week. I was looking at my roster, and I've never seen a week where a fantasy team had their kicker outscore every other player by over double, including the guys on the bench. Like, and that's just absurd in a what felt like a must-win game. I mean, obviously, I'm still alive right now, but that would have really given me a boost to be in. I think I'd be in the playoffs or like projected to make the playoffs right now if I had won that game. Um,
Mm.
a number of games I wish I could have back, particularly the week I played Sam. I forget if it was like week 4 or somewhere around there. Game that I could have won if I had just started Dallas Goddard in place of TJ Hawkinson, which I literally was like on the fence about doing. I think Dallas Goddard had put up double-digit scores like every game so far that season, but then TJ was coming off a big week, so I was like, TJ's got some momentum. Let's stick with him, and that ended up costing me that game, and that again is the difference between me being in the playoffs right now and me not making it. So that's when I'm going to be definitely kicking myself about if I don't make it. But what can you do, man? I mean, I'm proud of my team for showing some fight and keeping me in it right now. If you had told me a few weeks ago that I'd still have a 1 in 10 chance of making the playoff, then I'd take that. So we'll see what happens.
Hmm. I mean, you got a good group of guys that you're leading out here each and every week too. It's Jameer Gibbs and Jackson Smith and Jigba, just like two powerhouses right at the like most elite at their positions too. It's just those other positions that we're trying to fill in each week too. Do you want to comment on how maybe we're evaluating some talent of those second, third tier guys here too.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll say this. I didn't have the best draft this year. Like you said, I've got two offensive juggernauts that were great picks, and then pretty much everyone else I drafted has been a disappointment. So I had to get a lot of guys off of waivers. I made a clutch trade with getting Brian Thomas off my team for Debo and Kenneth Walker. So appreciate the guy who was generous enough to give me that. Um, those were a
You're
couple
welcome.
key pickups. Yeah, Matthew Stafford, he's been solid ever since I got him off of waivers, man. He's been consistently, like, other than last week, he's been putting up 20 plus points a week. So he's been helping me out a lot. Yeah, Dallas Goddard, who I got him off of waivers. I mean, he's been slumping a little bit lately, but he was definitely an upgrade over TJ Hawkinson. And let's see, who else do I have here? I mean,
Is it-
yeah, Ramondre Stevenson, he's been up and down a little bit. Chris Godwin, honestly, that was kind of a waste of a pick too, because I was expecting him to be the number one receiver on the Bucks this year with Mike Evans getting a little old. Obviously, he was injured to start the season, but I mean, apparently the dude is just made of glass bones and paper skin and can't stay healthy, so he hasn't done much for me this year. But yeah, there's just a lot of guys who are mid and just have done enough to get me by. I feel like I've done my best to pick up the pieces with all the busts that I drafted. Xavier Worthy's another guy who's been a huge disappointment. I mean, I thought he was going to be an explosive player. He set the record for the 40-yard dash of the combine. I was like, oh yeah, he's going to be making big plays every week. And the dude is like John Ross 2.0. He hasn't done shit. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've done my best with what I had. But the draft just didn't. I just didn't get enough depth in that draft to really give myself a fighting chance here. I
Mhm.
mean, even though I'm still alive, yeah, this it could have been a lot better if I had just gotten some decent talent around Gibbs and JSN.
That's it.
Yeah.
Carson, did you want to have one too?
Yeah. So I want to point out that Brad, you and I, who are going to be fighting out for potentially playoff spots this week, we both scored more points than Brant this week or this year. I want everyone to hear that one more time before we go into playoff season. So, Brad, Isaiah was mentioned some of these players, and obviously, maybe the most significant one would be Jackson Smith and Jigba. He is the best Ohio State receiver in the NFL right now from a school that is known for producing wide receivers. So, what I'm asking is, what are you going to do to acquire the number one pick for next year to get Jeremiah Smith out of USF?
Man, Jeremiah Smith out of USF. I mean, that just the concept of that is insane. But I don't know. We'll see. As far as what I need to do to secure the number one pick, I mean, yeah, I don't really have a strategy for that. I mean, I don't think we do bribes in this league, so
Well, I
yeah.
mean,
Oh,
you do usually perform well in the Hunger Games, I will point out.
yeah. I mean, at least recently, I did have two back-to-back last place or number 12 picks in the Hunger Games, but it's been going more my way. So I don't know. We'll see. If we're leaving it up to the simulator, I'm just gonna pray to the Hunger Game gods and hope I get that number one pick. That'd be clutch.
And my second question, you were going through all the guys in your team again, and you skipped the guy who's the NFL leader in all-purpose yards this year. That is, and I don't know if this is how you actually pronounce his name. I'm just going to give it my best shot, but that would be Chimere DK because he has been killing it in the return game for the Titans this year. So, what would you think about some potential amendments to maybe boosting some fantasy points for players for return yards next year?
It's an interesting concept. I mean, I think it would definitely just create more options on the waiver wires and more flex guys that would be putting up points week to week. I mean, yeah, DK, even without his return yards, has been putting up some solid numbers for the Titans, other than last week where he got me negative points, of course. But um, yeah, no, I mean, I'd be open to the idea of doing it. I don't know how the rest of the league feels, but I've got friends who are in leagues that reward for return yards. And I mean, my buddy was showing me his team that has Kavontae Turpin, where Kavontae Turpin's like a dog in that league just because of all the return yards he gets. And I'm like, all right, I mean, it's an interesting concept. So if we put it up for a vote, I'd probably vote yes on that.
I think that we can add that one right after we adjust the retroactive scoring of some of the defensive yards between 300 and at 3:49 too. But it is right there on the docket too, Brad. Thank you. And Carson. Yeah.
Fair.
Um, and then Brad, I wanted to get to like probably the real story, why people were coming here too. That we all don't know that you went to the Ohio State Championship right this last weekend too. So can you tell everybody kind of what the scenes were like too when you were sitting back there basking in it?
Yeah, so I mean, it was a moment that I'd dreamed of for a while. I come from a family of Wolverines. My dad was a U of M alumni, so I was brainwashed by a lot of Michigan propaganda growing up. And once I started school at Ohio State, I threw that all out the window, and I saw the light. And it was just kind of like a bucket list thing for me to attend that game and see the Buckeyes come out on top. And I had attended 4 years in a row previously where we had lost all 4 games, and been there twice in Ann Arbor where I took just a painful amount of trash talk from those Michigan fans, and just yeah, it's just a kind of a scarring experience, traumatic experience in a way to go through all of that, and just every year thinking, okay, next year we got him, next year we got him, and just to keep coming up short. So just to be in that stadium, finally see the Buckeyes win, see the looks on the salty Michigan fans' faces as they poured it out of that stadium at the end of the third quarter. And to just see, there's a good number of Buckeyes fans there. We took over at the end, and you could hear the OHIO chants on TV, I'm sure. Yeah, it was just a special moment. Felt like I was dreaming, honestly, because I had envisioned it in my mind for a long time. But yeah, the truth is, I hate Michigan more than I love Ohio State, if I'm being honest. So that was my that I know that wasn't the national championship, but that was my national championship in my eyes for Ohio State to win that game and end that streak.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that was freaking awesome because there's a lot of talk around here, right? We're always talking about who we're starting, what fantasy players are going out there. I mean, you went out and you took that championship home yourself, and so as a Buckeye fan myself, I just want to thank you for your service there.
I appreciate it. Yeah, deserve a Medal of Honor for that, right?
You do.
Yeah.
Carson, did you have anything else for him too?
Yeah, so I went to the league history to look how Brad has fared in the history of this league here. Average finishing position ninth out of 12. Of all-time record coming into this year was 36 and 46, and he had made one playoffs.
You
But
really know how to hype a guy up, huh, Carson?
but your one playoff year was last year where you ended up finishing fourth overall. It was a very respectable season. You had your team figured out a little bit. Now we stumbled a bit this year, but you still have a chance to make the playoffs. So definitely better than what it's been in years past. So what are you going to do to continue this trend of improvement?
Yeah, I think again, it just comes back to drafting the right guys. I mean, last year I remember I had Jamar Chase and he was kind of carrying my team throughout the year, but I also had, I believe, like Josh Jacobs and a number of other guys who were just consistently putting up points. I had Trey McBride at tight end. So I just had that depth and plus that one just elite offensive player who was consistently putting up like 30-point weeks that just kind of got me to that next level, and I feel like to just consistently win throughout the year, you got to have that combination of depth and like one or two elite players. So, um, yeah, I think it just comes down to drafting, and then I don't know. I've never been a big trades guy. I think I've maybe made like 3 or 4 trades over the course of the entire time we've had this league, but I don't know, maybe it's something I need to start looking more into. Like this year, if I'd been able to pull off more trades, maybe I could have dumped some of this dead wood off my team and gotten some better players. So, yeah, I think maybe I gotta kind of start from scratch again and kind of reevaluate my whole strategy when it comes to fantasy football. But
Okay.
you know,
That's a very definitive statement.
yeah. But that being said, I mean, yeah, I've shown some signs of improvement. I think these past couple years compared to some of the abysmal years I've had at the start of the league. So, but hey, I've never finished in last place for what that's worth.
Yeah. And also, I mean, think about it. If you would have made too many trades this week, you could have ended up scoring less points than Brant did. So, I mean, maybe it worked out too.
Good point. Good point.
What's up, Ollie?
Now, you want to say hi real quick. All right, who are those guys? Huh? Nobody?
Buddy. All right. We are going to end our the Zoom timed out thing. So, Brad, I will lay the last question to you here too. If you have a message for the league, something that you want them to hear, let everybody know what you want them to say.
Yeah, so I'll bring up a topic that's been discussed on a number of previous videos. That's last place punishments. So I do like the idea that you proposed, Isaiah, of like having just you said like what, like a 10-minute roast of whoever finishes in last place this year, and the team managers can all submit their roasts and we just lay on them, right? So
Mhm.
I think that's a good idea. This may be a little bit controversial, and I'm sure some people won't like to hear it, but I'm of the opinion that any last place finish should not go unpunished, right? And not to call anyone out, but there are three people in this league who have finished in last and did not serve a punishment. And there's three people who did have to serve a punishment. So I think it's only fair to the integrity of the league that we're consistent with that, and we don't give people a free pass when other people had to serve their time. But I'm not asking for anything crazy. I think maybe we can build off the roast idea, and maybe the three people who have finished last can maybe be a part of that and have a few roasts go their way as like the opening act to the main event, which will be whoever finishes last place this year will take the brunt of the roasting. But I don't know. That's my
Mhm.
proposal. I don't know how the other people in the league would feel about that, but I figured I'd just throw my 2 cents in there.
Hmm. And Brad, that's why we love everybody's opinions coming on the show and, just speaking what they want to say to everyone too. All right, that'll be our show for today. And that is a good idea, Brad. Maybe we'll do something like that too. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Brad. I loved having you here.